Have you ever stepped off a plane in another country, jumped into a taxi, and then suddenly thought, wait, why are we driving on the opposite side of the road? If you've ever traveled between places like the United States and the United Kingdom, or from Japan to Germany, you may have felt that quick moment of confusion. Everything looks normal, but the traffic is moving in a way your brain isn't used to. So why does this happen? Why do some countries drive on the left while others use the right side of the road? And how did the world end up split like this in the first place? The answer is actually a mix of history, simple everyday needs, political influence, and sometimes a little bit of national pride. To really understand how this left versus right rule started, we need to travel far back in time, long before cars, highways, or traffic lights even existed. Picture life in medieval Europe. Narrow dirt roads, riders on horseback, and knights carrying swords as they traveled between towns. Back then, most people were right-hand. Because of that, it felt safer for riders to stay on the left side of the path. Why the left side? Because if someone dangerous approached, a rider could quickly pull out their sword with their right hand and be ready to defend themselves. There was also another simple reason connected to horses. Most riders prefer to get on a horse from the left side. For someone who is right-hand, it just feels more natural and easier. If everyone mounts their horse from the same side, standing on the left edge of the road is much safer than doing it in the middle, where another rider could pass by and bump into you. Over time, this simple habit became the normal way to travel. For many centuries, in large parts of the world, people naturally stayed to the left side of the road when moving from place to place. But things began to shift during the 18th century, especially across mainland Europe. As towns grew larger and trade between regions increased, the roads became much busier. Travel was no longer just about people riding horses. Big freight wagons, usually pulled by several horses, started carrying goods from one place to another. These wagons were very different from modern vehicles. The driver didn't sit inside a seat like we do today. Instead, the driver often sat on the left horse at the back of the team. From that position, they held a whip in their right hand to guide the other horses. Because the driver sat on the left side, it was easier to watch the road and see wagons coming from the opposite direction. To avoid hitting each other, it made more sense for these large wagons to travel on the right side of the road. Over time, this practice spread across much of mainland Europe. Gradually, driving on the right became the common rule in many countries across the continent. But history added another interesting twist. You've probably heard the name Napoleon Bonaparte. He didn't just change politics and borders, he also helped spread the rule of driving on the right. As Napoleon's armies moved across large parts of Europe, they brought many French systems with them. One of those systems was right-side travel. In many areas his forces controlled, this rule was introduced and enforced. It wasn't only about making roads more practical. It was also a way to show French power and influence in the territories they ruled. However, one major power refused to follow this change, the United Kingdom. Britain decided to keep its long tradition of driving on the left, and it held firmly to that rule. As the United Kingdom built a powerful empire and spread across the world, its road tradition spread as well. One of those traditions was driving on the left side. That's why many places that were once under British rule still follow that system today. Countries like India, Australia, and South Africa all continue to drive on the left, even long after gaining independence. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, the United States was going through its own transportation changes. By the late 1700s and early 1800s, Americans were slowly moving toward driving on the right side of the road. Part of that shift came from the influence of French culture after the American Revolution. But practical design also played a big role. One important factor was the famous Conestoga wagon used by settlers and traders. These large wagons carried goods across long distances. Just like many European wagons, the driver usually sat on the left side of the team of horses. From that position, it was easier to see traffic coming from the other direction if the wagon stayed on the right side of the road. So once again, the design naturally encouraged right-side travel. Later, when automobiles began appearing on the roads, another major moment helped lock this system into place. In 1908, Henry Ford introduced the famous Ford Model T. The car had its steering wheel placed on the left side, which worked best when driving on the right side of the road. Because the Model T became incredibly popular across the country, this design helped firmly establish right-hand driving in the United States and influenced many other nations as well. Now you might be thinking about Japan. Japan was never a British colony, so why does it drive on the left? The answer actually comes from railways. When Japan was modernizing during the late 1800s, it invited British engineers to help build its railway network. Naturally, those engineers designed the rail system to run on the left side, just like in Britain. Over time, when automobiles started appearing, road traffic followed the same pattern. Jump ahead to today, and the world is still split. About 2/3 of the global population drives on the right side of the road, while roughly 1/3 drives on the left. And here's the fascinating part: this divide isn't random at all. In many cases, it clearly reflects the history and outside influences that shaped each country. Many countries that drive on the left today share a common past. A large number of them were once part of the British Empire. Nations such as India, Australia, New Zealand, along with several countries in Africa and the Caribbean, still follow the left side rule that came from British influence. On the other hand, right-hand driving is far more common in mainland Europe, across the Americas, and in much of Asia. That's why the difference can feel so dramatic in some places. For example, if you cross the border from France into the United Kingdom, the entire flow of traffic suddenly flips to the opposite side. You might assume that once a country chooses a side of the road, it stays that way forever. But history shows that's not always true. A few nations have actually switched sides over time. A well-known example is Sweden. Until 1967, drivers there used the left side of the road. The problem was that nearby countries like Norway and Finland drove on the right. This created confusion at borders and increased the risk of accidents. So the Swedish government made a bold decision to change the system completely. On September 3, 1967, at exactly 5 in the morning, the country officially switched to right-hand driving. The event became known as Dagen H, which simply means H-Day. The transition was enormous. Road signs had to be replaced, traffic lights adjusted, buses redesigned, and drivers prepared for the change. Yet surprisingly, the switch went more smoothly than many people expected. Other countries have made similar decisions for practical reasons. For example, Samoa changed from right-hand driving to left-hand driving in 2009. The goal was to better match the road systems of its main partners, Australia and New Zealand. At this point, you might ask an obvious question: why doesn't the entire world just agree on one side and make things simpler? The reality is that it's not nearly that easy. Traffic systems are deeply connected to a country's history and identity. Changing sides would mean far more than repainting a few road lines. It would require rebuilding parts of infrastructure, redesigning vehicles, retraining drivers, and letting go of long-standing traditions. So the reason some countries drive on the left while others drive on the right is the result of a long journey through history. From medieval riders on horseback, to the influence of Napoleon Bonaparte, to wagon design and the rise of modern automobiles, many different forces shaped the system we see today. It's a story built over centuries, guided by practical choices, historical events, and a bit of cultural pride. The next time you visit a place where traffic moves on the opposite side of the road, remember that you're not just looking at a driving rule. You're seeing history in motion. Even something as ordinary as which side of the road we drive on carries the weight of generations of decisions, habits, and traditions. And that's what makes it so fascinating.